What is up, everyone? Good morning to you guys. It's about 9 o'clock here on June 24th, Saturday morning. I'm going to be going over my June running back rankings here for Fantasy Football 2023. I just put out my quarterback rankings. I think I'm going to put that in the link in the description. I'll also have a couple other links in there for you guys, as well as the rankings that we're going to make today. So, again, last night I made my quarterback rankings, and the way I did it is I kind of just had like a draft. I opened up a spreadsheet and we just kind of drafted the top 40 quarterbacks or so. We're going to do the same today with the running backs, and then I do want to just mention the fantasy playbook right now. It's available on the fantasyfellowship.com. Just click on the playbook and then you guys can check out the rankings. Everything's free. There's projections. I got to get these things updated before we get to July, but there's a lot of articles, a lot of free stuff on here. Check it out, and once we're done with these rankings, I will be updating these on the website as well. Again, like I said, we just did the quarterbacks last night, and here we go. This is what we're going to be working on today. Let's get these running back rankings started. And hey, if you guys are new to the Fantasy Fellowship, definitely subscribe and give us a like. Let people know that this is a good video. And yeah, happy morning, guys. Let's get into it. I do have a little bit of discrepancy at the top here. My cheat sheet, which is these are my projection cheat sheets, and then I like to have a rankings cheat sheet. The projections kind of let me know how I'm feeling about some of these players, but the rankings I kind of want to be a little bit more level with these guys, and that's why I like making my rankings based off of ADP. And if you look here, I mean, it's Christian McCaffrey at 4. Austin Eckler at 8.9, Bijan Robinson at 10.3. Now, I believe that Austin Eckler is the RB1. I don't know if I want to rank him there yet, though, because, again, in my projections he is. But in order to get, basically, I'd be telling you to take Eckler at 4 overall. And I don't know if I agree with that. So I do think that every week CMC is healthy. We're going to put him probably as the top running back. So I think I'm okay with leaving CMC as my running back 1. It's just that where he's being drafted, I'm for sure taking JJ. I'm taking Jamar Chase. I'm taking maybe Cooper Kupp. I'm maybe taking Tyreek Hill. Sometimes I even take Travis Kelce over Christian McCaffrey. I do prefer Austin Eckler's ADP of 8.9 quite a bit. And hey, if you want to take Austin Eckler ahead of Christian McCaffrey, do it. I think it's a pretty good play. And Eckler is my projected bet to finish as the 101, I guess as the RB1 this season. And then as we get to the third running back here, and I guess I'm going to kind of do this in tiers. So there's going to be chapters on the bottom you guys can click through. So I guess this is the tier 1 of RBs here. And I think it's only these two guys that I think have the legit upside to finish as the running back 1. So I'm going to leave that as tier 1. Let's get into tier 2 here. And we're going to go with the rookie Bijan Robinson. Dude's going to be getting a ton of rushing carries volume this year. Basically, the only thing that's like potentially holding him back will be his receiving upside. He doesn't have that like Eckler, McCaffrey do, but he could, be more involved than we think. So I think he's a fun pick at the end of the first round. Dude's gonna, he's getting 300 plus carries. He's gonna lead the team in touchdowns, carries, like everything. It's all Bijan this entire year. And then we get into like this interesting kind of like prime running back group here of Jonathan Taylor, Nick Chubb, Saquon Barkley, Tony Pollard. Now, I have been taking Nick Chubb. I'm going to rank Nick Chubb ahead of Jonathan Taylor. I feel a little bit safer about the Browns offense. I think you got Deshaun Watson year 2. You have just a much healthier offense in general, a really good offensive line. I feel a little bit safer with the Browns offense. And don't get me wrong, I do like the Colts this year. I think Anthony Richardson could be a really fun, uplifting piece for this Colts offense. And who knows, maybe Jonathan Taylor rises to a new level. But my issue is the passing volume is just not there for Jonathan Taylor that we've seen in the past. Jonathan Taylor still could, he could lead the league in rushing. He could lead the league in rushing touchdowns. But I think just the inexperience at the QB position might ding him a little bit for me. So I'll put Nick Chubb ahead of Taylor. And then I'm going to put, it's tough. I'm going to put Saquon Barkley next. We'll get him at RB6. I don't have much to say on Saquon Barkley. He's currently not happy with his contract, but the team is much better all around him, which, I mean, you could argue that's a good thing. The Giants are going to have more opportunities to score the ball, or you could argue that it's not such a great thing, and he's going to get the ball a little bit less or be relied on just a little bit less. And then Tony Pollard here. Now, I'm nervous because I do think Dallas is going to sign a veteran running back soon, whether it's Ezekiel Elliott, Leonard Fournette, Kareem Hunt. Like I think they're going to sign someone because they simply cannot give Tony Pollard everything that Ezekiel Elliott had last year. I don't think he's going to hold up, especially coming off an injured season. Whereas you bring in a vet back that could, depress his ADP a little bit. Maybe you get, if say Ezekiel Elliott comes back to Dallas, you're probably going to see Tony Pollard, dip around into the mid third round by like between Jacobs and Brees Hall. So it's going to be a little bit of an ADP hit, but just be careful of it for now. My 8th running back, and I kind of want to. I'm going to call that tier 2. This is my tier 2. Bijan to Tony Pollard. I can see all these guys finishing as top 5 backs. I don't know if there's that much difference between the two. Honestly, I think they're all great players, and they're all second round picks for the most part, besides Bijan. Let's move into the tier 3, and I'm going to go with Derrick Henry. I know he's getting up there in age, but he's still the entire focal point of the Titans offense. I do like Ramondre Stevenson. I'm not sure he's going to be getting that receiving volume that he had last year. Their offense was just so bad, and they didn't give Mac Jones anything to work with. They basically just said, drop back. If the guy's not open, dump it off to Ramondre, and that was kind of the offense. It was pretty bad. So Ramondre is still going to be used heavily as a receiver. I feel good about him being a top 10 back, but they are trying to find other ways to get more guys involved there. So just be wary of that. I do think he's a running back 1, but I don't think he's like a locked in top 5 running back as some people do. Number 10, I'm going to put Josh Jacobs here, but I'll tell you what, I'm not a fan of Josh Jacobs this season. I'm not a fan of the Raiders in general this year, but I will continue to put Josh Jacobs as my top 10 back. And then here, let's go ahead and get Brees Hall in here. I prefer Brees Hall over Josh Jacobs. I prefer Brees Hall over Ramondre Stevenson. And I might even prefer Brees Hall over Derrick Henry. It's just where Henry Stevenson and Jacobs are going, I can usually get a receiver, whether it's sometimes a Higgins or Olave fall into the third. Sometimes DK Metcalf is there. It really depends on what side I'm using. But I want to get Brees Hall in that tier. And then I think we'll call that tier done. Let's call that tier donezo. And then I got one more running back here. Actually, yeah, we'll call that tier done. This will be tier 4. Let's go ahead and get my guy. I'm gonna put Jahmyr Gibbs here. I'm gonna call Jahmyr Gibbs a running back 1 his rookie year. Tons of targets coming his way, and I mean they gave DeAndre Swift about 99 carries last year. They could double that for Jahmyr Gibbs. We just don't know what his rushing ceiling is. We do know that he's going to be a heavily targeted passing weapon, and he's probably their second best receiver after Amon-Ra St. Brown while Jameson Williams is out. So huge season coming for Gibbs right away. I guess I'm gonna put Travis Etienne next. This is kind of the tier where I'm kind of unsure about. So I'm just gonna kind of chunk these guys together. We'll put Najee Harris here. We'll put Kenneth Walker. This is going to be a big tier for me, by the way, because these guys are all like solid RB2s, and I don't see them having much RB1 upside. I'm going to go Aaron Jones. We'll go J.K. Dobbins. I'm going to go Dameon Pierce. Yeah, this is a huge tier for me. I'm going to go Joe Mixon. I'm not sure if Joe Mixon is going to play with the Bengals this year. We shall see. Okay, we'll call that the tier. So from basically Gibbs to Joe Mixon. I think these guys are all really quality running back 2s. I like Gibbs the most of this group. I think Etienne's going to be fine. He does need to be a little bit more efficient as a receiver. He does have to worry about Tank Bigsby as well. And then same with Najee Harris. Najee Harris has to worry a little bit about Jalen Warren getting more work. I think the offense in Pittsburgh is going to be much better this year, better offensive line. Kenneth Walker's got Zach Charbonnet behind him. Aaron Jones has A.J. Dillon behind him. And J.K. Dobbins, he's got Gus Edwards behind him, which is a good running back. But the Ravens don't really throw the ball to the RB. This year they might, though, with new offensive coordinator Todd Monken. I'm really into J.K. Dobbins at ADP right now, and he's starting to dip a little bit because of his contract situation. So I have been buying J.K. Dobbins on the way down. And then Dameon Pierce, I think he's just locked into the starting role. I don't think Devin Singletary is a threat to him. I think Singletary is more of like a third down kind of, fresh breath of air kind of back for them when they need a guy that's fresh. Otherwise, Pierce locked into 250 carries. Joe Mixon, I don't like the guy. He's kind of a troublesome mofo, but he is gonna have to take a pay cut to stay with the Bengals. It sounds like, and if he doesn't, he could get cut. He might have to restructure. I just something stinks about Joe Mixon. I have not been drafting a ton of Joe Mixon, but let's move on to the next tier here, and this is where it gets a little bit fun. I'm gonna put Cam Akers. We'll go Cam Akers. I'll go I'll go Miles Sanders. I'll go Alexander Madison. Let's see. You know what? I'll go David Montgomery, and we'll go Rashad White. All right, we'll call that the tier. Cam Akers to Rashad White. All of these guys are like being drafted as low end RB2s, but I can see either one of these guys finishing as a running back one. These guys have a lot of upside, whereas these guys here, from Mixon to Gibbs, I think these guys are all kind of capped. Like we know who they are. They're all having like good roles. They all have guys behind them though. Whereas these guys could just blow up and have huge seasons. I think Cam Akers, they did sign Sony Michel. Not really worried about that. Akers looked fantastic last year down the stretch, and he's a full year removed from his serious Achilles injury. Miles Sanders, the Panthers paid him well. They got a rookie quarterback. They're going to lean on him heavily. Chuba Hubbard is there if you want to handcuff him, but I think Miles Sanders is going to get a lot of volume. Same with Alexander Madison. They're going to run him to the wheels fall off. David Montgomery, I mean, they just gave Jamal Williams 1,000 yards and 17 touchdowns last year. And Montgomery, I think most would agree Montgomery's a better back. And then Rashad White, they have no other backs in town. I mean, we're talking Chase Edmonds, Keyshawn Vaughn. There's not a lot there for Tampa Bay. He's going to get a lot of receptions there. And yeah, that's the end of that tier. And now we get to guys that like honestly, I'm not sure. These guys all look good on my bench as my RB3 or my flex. And I'm going to start with James Conner just because he's going to get the volume in Arizona. It's going to be a rough year for them, but they're going to run him a lot. I'm not interested in Dalvin Cook, DeAndre Swift, Isaiah Pacheco quite yet. I do want to rank. Here's what we're going to do. Okay, we'll get Pacheco in here. I'm not super excited about Pacheco, but if he is indeed the starting running back for the Chiefs, he's going to be a decent pick. We're gonna get James Cook in here. James Cook, one of my favorite picks. I have him as a top 30 back. He's probably one of the safest backs because he has a guaranteed passing role, and if he gets upwards of 10 carries per game, that's what's really going to knock him out of the park. I love James Cook. DeAndre Swift, not sure yet. Dalvin Cook, not sure yet. Let's go ahead and get. I'm going to get some really good backup running backs here that have clear roles to me. And yeah, we can. I'm just going to keep going with. This is a really good tier for me. I love this tier of running backs right here. I'm even going to put Javonte Williams in there. Javonte, and then I'll loop in these slappies here, DeAndre Swift and Dalvin Cook. And let's get. We'll call that good. So this is a huge tier from James Conner all the way to Dalvin Cook. These guys are all guys that I want as my third running back or the guy on my bench. Sure, you could end up with one of these guys as your RB2 and is in a light RB build. I'm fine with that, but then you're probably going to want 2 or 3 of these guys right away as well. But Conner's going to get the volume. Pacheco's got some injuries. I'm kind of nervous about him. I think they might give Clyde Edwards-Helaire another chance. They might give McKinnon, the passing down work. And then you got to keep an eye on this Deneric Prince guy, UDFA or 7th-round pick for the Chiefs. James Cook locked into the receiving role. Devin Singletary has seen 50-plus targets in this role the last couple of years. Singletary has also been the lead back, and I think he's averaged about 180 carries per year the last couple of years. I don't think Cook's going to get up to 180, but if he touches, 140, 150, you're talking almost about 200 touches in a Buffalo offense. That's pretty damn good. A.J. Dillon, the dude's in a contract year. Packers are going to run the ball with Jordan Love, and it just seems like every November, December, that's like A.J. Dillon's season. Anything happens to Aaron Jones, you potentially have a league winner. Dillon can do it all. I love him on my bench. Same with Zach Charbonnet. He's a really good pass-catching back. He's going to be the third down back for Kenneth Walker. If KW gets hurt or anything happens to him, or maybe Charbonnet just looks better than him, we don't know. I love taking upside bets on Dillon, Charbonnet. Antonio Gibson. He's going to be the receiving back for Eric Bieniemy's offense. We've seen what Jerick McKinnon did in this offense. Tons of past instances where Bieniemy's RB has caught a lot of passes. And I'll tell you what, the last few fantasy championships I've won, it's been riding Chiefs RB in a 0 RB build. So I like Gibson here. Samaje Perine is going to be the starting running back for maybe half the year when Javonte Williams comes back. Did I get Javonte in here? I don't see Javonte Williams. Let me undo this real quick. Where is... There he is. All right, let me get Javonte Williams in here. All right, my bad. Now we're caught up. So with Samaje and Javonte Williams, I should probably have these guys like kind of ranked together. And here, let me actually do that. Let's go ahead. I'm just kind of working sloppily here. I'm gonna put Javonte ahead of Samaje, and then let's get B-Rob right there. And then I do like Mr. Damien Harris quite a bit as well. But there we go. I'm pretty excited about both running back fields for Washington and Denver. I think with Washington, they got a rookie quarterback or second-year quarterback in Sam Howell, or they have Jacoby Brissett. Either way, the running backs are going to be heavily involved. We know Brian Robinson's going to probably go over 250 carries. And Gibson's going to be a guy that gets a lot of carries, but he's going to be the featured passing back. We're pretty sure on both these guys. So they both feel good. They both can be your RB2, or they can be a fantastic RB3 flex off the bench. With the Broncos, the way I've been handling the Broncos is Javonte, he might be the guy that we want, come November, December. He could be in full health by then, and he could be looking really good. Remember, J.K. Dobbins had the same injury last year, and Dobbins played really well down the stretch as well. And then Samaje Perine, he's a guy that I like to get early. If you want to, you could so there's a couple pairings that I like. If you want to pair Samaje Perine with Alvin Kamara, you're going to get Perine for the start of the year, Alvin Kamara to finish the year. If you want to draft Javonte Williams, you can grab a guy like Jamal Williams and get him going for the start of the year and get Javonte at the end of the year. So both those guys correlate really well. DeAndre Swift, I'm not sold on DeAndre Swift. I think he looks better as an RB3 flex for where he's being drafted. I haven't been getting him a lot because he goes in the 6th, 7th round sometimes, and I'm just drafting other players around there. I don't think the Eagles throw enough for him to be fantasy relevant. I think his best opportunity to be fantasy relevant was in Detroit, and I just don't see the Eagles giving him 200 carries to be fantasy relevant. I think there's a lot of backs there that they're going to work in. So I'm nervous on Swift. I think he looks better as a committee back for us. You have Dalvin Cook here, who I'm willing to move up, but I'm not sure about it. It's tough. Wherever he signs, he's going to be in a committee. I don't think there's going to be anywhere he goes that he is the guy. So to me, he kind of belongs in this big RB2 committee tier. And then Damien Harris, like I said, he's going to compete with James Cook for carries, goal line back, all that kind of stuff. He's not going to have a huge receiving workload, but I do like Damien Harris in best ball builds. And then let's see. Let's start to just kind of wing this next tier. Jamal Williams is my ideal guy here. And to be honest, I might have to move Jamal Williams up even higher than some of these guys. That might come at a later date. Let's get Rashad Penny in here. I want to get Khalil Herbert in here. Let's see who else we got. I want to get Jaylen Warren and Tank Bigsby. Yeah, let's put Elijah Mitchell in there. This is kind of like a really good handcuff tier, to be honest. We'll throw the rookie Devin Achane. Let's get the Jay McKinnon and Kendre Miller in here. Okay, we'll call that a tier. From Penny to Miller, all these guys are kind of nice number 2 running backs here. I think Penny could lead the Eagles in rushing this year if he gets the carries in the yards and the touchdowns. He's the best running back, like first and second down running back on the Eagles. Not going to be involved as a passer. Khalil Herbert, really good first. Same thing with Khalil Herbert. He's kind of like Rashad Penny, really good first and second down runner. Probably not involved in the passing game. Jaylen Warren is involved in the passing game, and he's kind of reminds me of like an AJ Dillon, just more finesse, because he's going to get 6 to 8 touches per game, maybe even 6 to 10 touches per game, because he does get 2-3 receptions per game. And if anything happens to Najee Harris, There you go. You got a league winner. I love Jalen Warren right now. Tank Bigsby's going to take a little bit of work off of Travis Etienne's plate. If anything happens to Etienne, Bigsby's the guy we want. Same thing with Christian McCaffrey. Elijah Mitchell's going to, get a handful of touches per game, but if anything happens there, Mitchell's the guy. Not sure what's up with the Miami back, but I'll rank Devin Achane here as the top back. McKinnon's just a PPR scat back. And then Kendre Miller. Unsure what's going to happen here with Alvin Kamara. And did I get Alvin Kamara in these rankings yet? No, I did not. I did not get Alvin Kamara in these rankings. One second. I just want to see where Alvin Kamara is being drafted right now. Let me grab Mr. Kamara from my... All right, there he goes. All right, I'm just going to throw him... Yeah, we'll just throw him back in here. One second. So I got Kamara, and then I just need his ADP. 100.4. Okay. I'm not high on Alvin Kamara this year. I think if I'm going to rank him honestly, I will put him... I'm going to put Alvin Kamara right behind Jamal Williams. I think Jamal Williams is going to have a role even when Kamara is healthy. I just don't trust Kamara. I'm nervous about that suspension, and I think they're going to give Jamal Williams the ball a ton. But anyways, this tier here, again, all backups, all guys that have huge upside if their starter goes down. They might have 5 to 6, 7 touches per game with the starter healthy. But hey, if anything breaks their way, they're in for a huge season. Let's get into some of these guys here. I like Rashawn Johnson, Tyler Algier, Devin Singletary. Let's get Rashawn Johnson in there. Just another high upside rookie. I do want to put him next to Deonta Foreman, who also has some upside there as a first and second down runner. Not sure what the Bears backfield is going to look like quite yet. I do want to get Raheem Mostert up there as well, because if they don't sign Dalvin Cook, Raheem Mostert's going to be the starter. He could look like a nice value. I want to get Tyjae Spears here. He is the main backup, I think, to Derrick Henry this year, and he's going to get a lot of work as a receiver. I feel really good about Tyjae Spears. He might actually be he might be their third best pass catching weapon after Burks and after Chigo Conquo. I think Spears is going to be a guy that maybe gets 2-3 catches per game. I do want to get Chuba and Kenneth Gainwell off the list here, and then I'm going to come back to I'll come back to Tyler Algier, who's still going to get work as the number 2 back here, but it's kind of capped by Bijan being there. Let's go ahead and get Jerome Ford in here, the main backup to Nick Chubb. Let's get Devin Singletary back up to Dameon Pierce. And now, so I'm going to call that like a tier. From Singletary, I think, to Roschon. I think that's all a tier. These guys are all like RB4, RB5, something like that. Guys that need a little bit more things. They need a little bit more to break their way, but they could have some value at some point. I do want to get the veterans out of the way. Let's get Ezekiel Elliott in there. Let's get Leonard Fournette in there. I do like both of these 2 guys to sign somewhere soon. I'm going to make that say FA. And then let's get, let's see. We'll continue getting some veterans in here. I think Gus Edwards is going to be a guy that's still being used. Again, as long as Dalvin Cook's not signed yet right now, you got to continue to take some shots on Jeff Wilson. These guys are both kind of unknown here, Chase Brown and Ty Chandler. I like both of them. I did draft a lot of Ty Chandler when he was like in the 200s, but he's moved up kind of a lot right now, so I haven't been drafting him. I do like the veterans here, Cordell Patterson and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And then let's get some of the young guys in here. Israel Abanikanda, Dwayne McBride. I'm going to throw Pierre Strong in here as well. We'll put Zamir White in here too. And then I'll come back to, let's get Kareem Hunt in here. It's pretty junky now, guys. It is pretty junky now. I'm going to do a little bit something different here. We're going to go with Jordan Mason, who's guaranteed to make the team. And I think he got a lot of work with the ones in OTAs and mini camps. He might be putting Elijah Mitchell on notice as the backup running back. I'm going to get Josh Kelly in here because he's the backup to Austin Eckler. Let's go ahead and get I'm going to put Keen Nwangwu here because he got at Vikings minicamp, he was the guy that was getting the first team reps. Or I guess after Madison, it was Nwangwu, then Chandler, then McBride. So that's something to keep an eye on. Sorry, my throat's a little scratchy. Let's see. Next year, I don't love this list of running backs. I think this is kind of gross. I don't want to go all the way to 80 here, but we're working with ADP, so I'll continue to go with it. I'm going to get Keontae Ingram and Kieran Williams here. I like Malik Davis more than Deuce Vaughn. I think that's the better play. I like Sean Tucker. Don't sleep on him. Let's not sleep on, I guess, Chase Edmonds either. This is a pretty ugly group here, guys. Sure, I'll go Zach Evans. They did just sign Sony Michel, but I think as we get this far down, guys, I think I might swap in some other players. I'm kind of just, filling this out aimlessly right now off of, this is the ADP that I got from Underdog. I don't think I'm probably going to reset this back 10 here, but let's just kind of do a recap here for you guys. So back at the top here, Tier 1 was CMC and Austin Eckler. Tier 2, Bijan Robinson, Nick Chubb, Jonathan Taylor, Saquon Barkley, Tony Pollard. Tier 3, I believe, was Henry, Stevenson, Jacobs, Breece Hall. This next tier backs, we start to get a little bit bigger tiers. It looks like I went with Gibbs, Etienne, Harris, Walker, Jones, Dobbins, Dameon Pierce. I think Joe Mixon was in that tier as well. I like this tier: Cam Akers, Miles Sanders, Alexander Mattison, David Montgomery, Rashad White. This is probably my favorite tier, though, my largest tier. I'm going to even include Jamal Williams in that. Connor, Pacheco, James Cook, A.J. Dillon, Zach Charbonnet, Antonio Gibson, Brian Robinson, Javonte Williams, Samaje Perine, DeAndre Swift, Dalvin Cook, Damian Harris, and Jamal Williams. I want as many of these guys as I can on my roster. This tier all looks good as like your, RB4, RB5 group here. And it probably goes all the way to like probably Kenneth Gainwell. But that's Kamara, Penny, Khalil Herbert, Jalen Warren, Tank Bigsby, Elijah Mitchell, Devin A-Chain, Jerick McKinnon, Kendre Miller, Rashawn Johnson, Deonta Foreman, Raheem Mostert, Tajay Spears, Chuba Hubbard, Kenneth Gainwell. You probably want at least 2 of those guys. It doesn't matter which ones you take, whatever you're feeling. And then down here, I think this tier kind of, I'm gonna redo this because I'm not in love with a lot of this back end ranking stuff. But Algier, Ford, Singletary, Elliott, Fournette, Gus, Wilson, Chase Brown, Tyler Chandler, Clyde, CPAT, Israel Abanikanda, Dwayne McBride. I do like Pierre Strong. I like Zamir White. I like Kareem Hunt. I like Jordan Mason. I like Josh Kelly. But after kind of these guys, I think I'm going to end up redoing this bottom 10 or so rankings. But that's it. That is my updated June running back rankings. I'm going to make another video for you guys in the month of July, maybe mid-July, right before training camps. We'll just put out another rankings video, then we'll have an update, a couple weeks into training camp. So there you have it. Check out the quarterback one. I'm going to probably link some videos here on the screen for you guys at the end of the video. So, hey, thank you guys for hanging out. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe if you are new. Check out thefantasyfellowship.com. Have a good day, guys. Peace.